Where do we go from here? We can go college stuff. We already talked about the trap game
let's just
between
get it
High
over.
State Purdue.
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Okay.
Rip it off. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So, all right. So we're gonna talk about the continuing soap opera that is currently the Cleveland Browns right now, because this whole thing with Deshaun Watson. First of all, it feels like half the team isn't practicing right now. Joel Bitonio was out yesterday.
But
Myles Garrett was out yesterday. I know that.
Joel and Wyatt, I'm willing to give the time.
And Myles the same.
Yeah, I think Myles earns it. Right?
And then David Njoku. By the way, David Njoku finally posted on Instagram the other day the picture. I think this was his initial burns. This is before like they started to really heal. If you go see that picture of him online, it is terrifying. And the fact that he was able to go play the next day,
it looks almost like it was a Halloween costume.
It's crazy.
It's actually and I will give him a lot of respect for playing through that. I think he is a warrior in terms of like he's played through injuries before. Obviously, last year when you have a broken wrist as a tight end that has to block in this offense and catch, are you really useful?
You're gonna call a guy who's a chief a warrior? I don't think it's the same thing.
I'm just gonna leave now.
Yeah. Okay. No. Well, that's the thing, because Njoku, he's had his downs as a Cleveland Brown. I mean, who hasn't? But he's arguably one of the more consistent guys we have in the offense if we can get him the freaking ball. And that's what leads to the whole thing with Deshaun Watson right now, where one guy's face nearly burnt off and he's still going out and playing. By the way, if he's not the Invisible Man for the Halloween game, if he doesn't come in as the Invisible Man, this whole season is a wash. But when you see something like that, and I'm not trying to compare the two because they're obviously very different, but when you see that compared to the whole thing that's been going on with Deshaun Watson, it is kind of frustrating. And I think this is where I have to accept what people have probably already accepted already, but I'm going to have to do it now because I have to make a statement for the show. Deshaun Watson really does control the Cleveland Browns in a way that is going to be frustrating, because a lot of people I've been seeing have talked about his guaranteed contract, and I don't think this is a factual. When I say the fans are saying this, I don't know if this is a factual assessment of Watson as a player and as a person, because it's easy for me to say, for somebody to say, "Oh, he's got his money guaranteed now. He doesn't have to work." First of all, that's kind of disparaging against a guy who you don't who maybe he wants to be on the field. Maybe he does want to put out the effort to try and still be a solid quarterback in the NFL. But I don't know. It's frustrating because he has the amount of, I guess, leeway to be able to make these sort of medical assessments on his own. And because of that, the Browns really have to kind of scramble to put together a team to face off this week. I mean, they had P.J. Walker, the former XFL MVP, coming in, and now he's officially QB2. And Kevin Stefanski confirmed it earlier this week. And, which I understand, got to give DTR some more time to develop as a quarterback after he clearly wasn't ready to face a regular season opponent last week or 2 weeks ago. But it hurts that this game, of all games, is the one you have to come back to against arguably the best team in the NFL right now, the hottest team in the NFL right now. So this doesn't really impact, they're not going to win. I said it on Tuesday. They're not going to win this week.
No.
But I don't know. I think it's one of those things where I can accept if we were going to be the team that was heavy underdogs, but I think it's more frustrating now because you don't really know. I don't really know how the dynamic of this team is. And for a team that's been has tried to pride itself on being so transparent and so professional, I'm worried we're starting to see it unravel a little bit.
You are.
Well, we don't know for sure because they could rattle off a couple of wins here.
And I said Tuesday, I don't think Watson should play, right? Because the last thing we need is a guy who has a banged up shoulder trying to play through it, and then also with a liability at left tackle just getting blown by Nick Bosa, or insert any of the other dominant defensive linemen the Niners have. Is Kevin Stefanski actually going to have a good plan this time for a quarterback? That's what I want to know.
I would hope so.
Because if not,
we also have to take into account too, it may not be just the plan necessarily. It might just be the players aren't getting what they want done. Now, granted, if the players are kind of left out there to dry, then that's one thing. But I'd imagine it would look a little more consistent this week rather than what we saw against Baltimore.
Yeah, if it looks like it did against Baltimore again, then
I think I think you could probably service PJ Walker better than you have a 5th round rookie.
That's fair. It just better look better. I'm not saying it's going to result in more points. I'm not going to, but I mean, last week the disservice that was done to Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I felt like in terms of the game and play calling, 36 passing attempts.
Mm-hmm.
I know we don't have Nick Chubb for the rest of the year, but Jerome Ford has shown you that he's serviceable, especially behind this offensive line that's pretty solid at run blocking. But I don't know. Sunday's probably going to be one of those days that I'm really thankful I have NFL Red Zone, if I'm just being brutally honest, because it might be one that game is off at halftime.
What does the score need to be for you to be like, okay, we lost, but I'm still feeling okay about where we are? Does it have to be, I mean, I'm not saying it has to be like 40-39, but
I think if the Browns defense just keeps this offense in check, right?
Okay.
You think about it. Dallas's defense is this highly touted defense, right? One of the best in the NFL. Oh, they did this against the Giants in week 1. Okay, it was against the Giants. Oh, they did this in week, what? Did they play the Jets already too?
No, not the Jets, no.
What other bad team did they play that they took care of too?
Oh, San Francisco?
No.
Well, they played the
Cowboys.
The Cowboys. Yeah, they played the Jets.
They did?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of then.
Okay, yeah,
Like, oh, wow, they did that. And, then they their defense stepped up in the second half against the Cardinals. Cool. Look what happened when they played a team with all these weapons. Explosive offense. A great offensive-minded head coach. I want to see what the Browns can do against this. I think the Browns are not going to allow San Francisco to score 42 points like they did against Dallas, but they may if the offense keeps doing 3 and outs. So that's kind of where I'm at. I think I just want to see the Browns. Can the Browns hold this team under 24 points?
Yeah, I don't want to see a ton of turnovers like you saw from Dallas, where 3 straight. I mean, I don't think they're going to throw 3 straight interceptions. By that point, by the way, people were saying, "Oh, Dak threw 3 straight interceptions." Yeah, it's because they were so far out of it at that point. All you got to do is start slinging it downfield. I got so frustrated by everybody saying that Dallas was a trash team after that game. Obviously, it's the Cowboys. Obviously, it's fun to make fun of them when they don't perform on a national stage. And that was one of the most highly anticipated Sunday night games of the year. But it's just that San Francisco's that team right now. I told you, Dallas isn't even the best team in their own division. We're going to cut it off there.
Facts.
I don't know.